Eriador is diminished. The time of the Eldar is fading, and the deeds of the men of the West are preserved only in their ruins. The shadow of a fear of ages past threatens all the free peoples of Middle-earth. And yet, hope remains. For in the hearts of unlikely folk is the strength to wander through shadow kept. And only thence can they come to the morning. And though the road is long and treacherous and full of peril, it is a road that these companions must travel. And only through strength of loyalty, friendship, and hope can they overcome the obstacles ahead. May the goodwill of elves, men, and all free folk go with them.
Now, with her brand new Archette bow and the bandit John Leapin in tow, the company makes their way south towards Tharbad once again. The road proves most unenjoyable, as the company is plagued by rainfall. However, just as the rain clears, they come upon Orothel at the Watchful Stones. Perhaps what could have been such a simple task has become a much more complex riddle to solve.
When last we left off, you all had set out on yet another journey back to Tharbad, the much venerated or venerable or whatever you want to call it place, run by bandits, as if you hadn't had your fill of bandits already. And on your way, you'd come upon, about 3 days out from Tharbad, a set of stones just off of the road, 13 standing stones. And within, you can see there is a fire going. And as you all approach and get closer to it, you can see that John is basically, he's begging you all. Don't make me go up there. No, no, I'd rather just throw myself at the feet of Gurnow himself and beg for mercy. No, I don't want to go up there.
What is your issue with this person? I thought you were working with her.
Let's just say it wasn't by choice.
And you think you have a choice in this?
I'm begging your pardon, but I'm asking for mercy here.
And what makes you think these people aren't going to show you mercy? What did you do something to them?
We could just say that she won't be super happy with me. Call it a dereliction of duty.
Well, that's unfortunate, but she is one of Thrush's kin, and rangers tend to help those that are downtrodden, and your being alive is what determines whether or not we get our prisoner. I don't think she would risk an innocent's life just because she dislikes you.
Make me a persuade roll.
All right. I mean, it's not like he has a choice in the matter, but I will do it.
This is just to see just how much he whines from here on.
He's not going to whine.
Yeah, so with that, he gives you a slight side eye and says, if it be your will, so be it. And with that, he continues forward, his head down.
Oh, Thrush, lead the way.
Will do.
All right, and you all make your way up. These stones sit on top of a low hill, 13 all in a circle. Those of you who know anything about this, actually, Aranel,
yes.
You would probably know that this ring was actually made by the elves of Holland long ago.
I love the Dutch.
And not Holland.
I was gonna say, we got Tom over here.
And back in those days, the elf princes feasted under the stars in much better times. But common parlance says that these stones were actually trolls that got caught dancing out in the middle of the sunlight. But as you all approach, your horses make your way up this hill, and there, sitting in the center, right next to a fire, you see a woman. Her head is covered by a hood, and you can see she is sharpening what looks to be a very pristine dagger, very ornate, and she's sharpening it with a whetstone. And as you all approach, you see she looks up and her eyes meet yours, and she throws her hood back and sheathes her dagger and looks over at you, Thrush, and says, Thrush, it's good to see you. And this
You as well.
And this, as you know, is Orofel.
Correct. And he's just going to, and you as well, and nod, and then kind of just sweep his hand over towards the rest of the group and our guest.
And you see she gives a nod to all of you, and then her glance comes upon John. And you can see a visible anger across her face.
We understand that you have grievances with this man, but we are going to use him in a prisoner exchange to rescue an innocent of Bree who's trapped in Tharbad.
I've camped here for 5 nights, and this common brigand has gone off and done what?
Nothing useful, but as a prisoner to swap, he will be useful.
Who's this prisoner you're swapping him for, and why was he arrested in the first place?
He was an innocent in Tharbad who they claimed evading taxes or the like, which we all know is a joke in Tharbad.
Well, as heartbreaking as that story is, John is useful to me.
And what do you need him for?
He is a messenger, so to speak. I have friends in Tharbad, and I'm sure that they have word for me.
I see.
We do have to do something about this cobbler, though. Regardless.
Yes, because I'm not sure how long he'll survive in Tharbad, given that he's not well liked there anymore as well.
And do you think that this Captain Gurnow will just lightly hand over a prisoner for a common thief such as John?
John stole a great deal of money from Gurnow. I think, as callous as it is, he may enjoy the pleasure of having this man before him.
No. If he values his life, he shouldn't go back into Tharbad. At least not undisguised. But, be that as it may, since you all are here, perhaps you all may be of use to me. I'm wondering if I might ask for your aid.
Oh. Thrush is a friend of ours. We're willing to help his kin so long as your cause is just, which I suspect it must be.
You could say so, yes, of course. As I said, I have a friend in Tharbad. She keeps watch over the court of Lord Gurnow. And it's been some time since I've heard from her because this, and she glares over at John, has decided to abscond with some sort of treasure and then go and get arrested up north. Meanwhile, something could be brewing in Tharbad that we may need knowledge of. I need for you to attempt to make contact with my companion there.
Is she a Dunedain as well?
I'm reluctant to give you any information as to the identity of my contact.
Then how would you expect us
For
to
their
meet
sake.
her?
She leaves candles burning in windows when she has a message.
I
Usually
see.
on the south bank.
And you need us to retrieve a message, bring a message.
If she has knowledge of anything, she'll leave those candles burning. Just go inside there, you'll find a message written out for you, intended for John to carry out.
I see.
Got
I'm
it.
sure I could sneak in.
Yes, I don't see any issue with that.
I think maybe disguising John and going in. None of us, I don't think we left in the best graces of Gurnow when we were here, but it didn't seem like he wanted us killed or anything like that.
Now, we did pay his fees.
He was not interested in seeing me again, or possibly too interested in seeing me again.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't think your presence in Tharbad is gonna ruffle his feathers that much if you're just here on whatever business you claim.
Yes, I don't believe he will care very much if we're in the city. He just doesn't want us in his court again, which, well, that's going to be a slight issue, seeing as how we want to trade someone, but that's a bridge we cross when we get there.
But
No pun intended.
stay outside.
I mean, that is an option.
And so you say this cobbler has been locked up.
Yes. Remind me, did the mayor, or sorry, the leader of Bree even give us a name of this prisoner?
Orless.
Borlas.
Borlas? Okay.
Yeah, and if you remember the last time you were in Tharbad, one of the guards had mentioned, Tom Brass had actually mentioned that Borlas had just been locked up.
Okay. Good.
Oh, he's been here a hot minute. Got it.
Mhm.
That's
Okay.
like 6 months at least.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yikes.
No doubt, Gurnow desires to have this thief in his court to do with what he may. But you should know that Gurnow collects craftsmen.
I see.
You need to
Why?
because they're of great value.
He wants to
Craftsmen
make-
in these days are few and far between, and if they can get their hands on someone who's makes fine boots or brews fine ale, he'd rather keep his hands on them, make sure that they're paying their fair share, and make sure that any shipment that goes from their hands has Tharbad's brand stamped on it.
Yes, it did seem as though Gurnow likes to live rather opulently, so that doesn't surprise me.
So, like indentured servitude? He's making slaves out of these craftsmen, or is he allowing them freedoms within Tharbad as long as they pay?
You could say that their remaining in Tharbad is heavily encouraged.
So, maybe maybe our man is not a prisoner. Maybe he's just encouraged to stay. Maybe we could just sneak him out of there instead of all this. We know Gurnow is, it's gonna be a messy trade with Gurnow. Maybe the best thing to do is just get into the city and gather some information first before we strike a deal or present ourselves to Gurnow.
I mean, I don't mind that. The less violence, the better, but if we can find a way to rescue our prisoner and have everyone win, I'm all for that.
So maybe this contact of yours, and he looks at Orthel and says, maybe we should have a meeting with them. Maybe they just can fill us in on, well, maybe what you need to know and any questions that we have.
Their secrecy is of the utmost importance. I would not have their identity revealed, not even to you.
Larry's
Or if
thinking
she is-
back to all those months ago, and he remembered there was a very distinct woman who locked eyes with Thrush at some point.
I think Aranel might have been the only one that noticed it. But yeah,
That's true.
she would have told everyone. So
It's like, Aranel, do you remember the last time we were in Tharbad? There was a rather distinct-looking young lady who locked eyes with Thrush.
of course, I'm an elf. My
True.
memory is quite good, and she'll just like give a very detailed description of what this woman looks like.
I don't suppose that was your contact.
With this, Orthel grows rather stern. She says, "You will speak of this to no one. As I said, her identity must be kept secret. She has no friends in Tharbad, and she is there undercover."
Oh, that's quite all right. We just wanted to make sure that we avoid crossing paths with her in public. Then.
You must understand. She's very dear to me. Gwyleth is my daughter.
I see.
I see.
I was gonna. I knew it.
Quite
As
perceptive. You are.
Miragar is like sitting by the fire cooking. He's like, that's classic. Classic.
Thrush is going to just look at her and kind of, incline his head slightly in a deferential nod and say, "I'm sorry, they don't exactly understand the way we do things. Secrecy is that's what keeps us safe and alive. You think I'm being aloof and I'm being difficult? I'm just protecting myself and others."
That's quite all right, Thrush. I understand that customs of other peoples are different from our own. But I beg of you, she must not be found out.
Of
And
course.
Speak nothing of me and nothing of John, if you do happen to make contact with her, by happenstance or purposefully.
Of course. Well, if I may propose a compromise between us, we can go to Tharbad and pick up and retrieve messages for you, while you keep an eye on our friend here to make sure he doesn't run off anywhere. And in return, we would just respectfully ask that in one of your messages that you have us leave for her, you put an inquiry about our prisoner so she might be able to give us some information that could help us in that matter.
Of course. Here. Allow me. And with that, she fetches some parchment, and you see she's got a bit of kind of like a charcoal pencil, and she scribbles some notes down in the firelight. She scribbles some notes down on the parchment and kind of rolls it up and says, "Wherever you find the message, leave this in its place."
Very good. Well, John, enjoy the nice lady's company. We have work to do.
With that, you can hear his teeth audibly chittering.
I guarantee you she is not going to kill you because she doesn't want our innocent man from Bree to die either.
Oh, I guarantee you this. It ain't killing me. I'm worried about her doing.
Yes, well, seeing as how we're going to Tharbad in your stead, you should be safe with her.
With that, he kind of nods and sits down on one of the stones surrounding the fire and just looks deeply into it in silence, seemingly accepting that this is his fate now.
Shouldn't have stolen from Gurnow and we wouldn't be in this situation.
Not that he's a particularly kind man, so I don't necessarily blame you, but you should have known better. But that's neither here nor there. We have to deal with the consequences of everyone's actions now.
Miragar starts handing out just, warmed up trail rations effectively. This point in their journey.
Homemade.
It's
Do you
just
give
that
some
extra
to-
seasoning you had.
Yes.
Makes it just a little bit more palatable.
Yes, I know sometimes we give you a hard time for everything you carry, but it does make a difference.
It's okay.
All right. So,
Is it now time for tea? Anybody? I got a couple. He pulls out a little tin.
Oh, I would very much love some. Othel, would you like to partake?
you know, it's been quite some time since I've had a good tea. I would love some.
Oh, goody. And he pulls out like a whole kettle. Just the stuff that comes out of
Like,
this hobbit's bag.
Unpacking
is-
a mini kitchen. Like,
Yeah.
And you-
Larry's just gonna sit down by the fireplace and put down his stuff, and I don't know. I'm sure she would probably make note of the fact I have a Numenorian spear, if nothing else.
Mhm.
Whether or not she actually says anything about it is another
You
matter entirely.
You can see that she, like, her eyes glow a little bit whenever she sees it. She doesn't say anything.
Do I notice that? Do I legitimately notice she's?
Yeah,
staring?
you can catch her. You can catch her eyes, kind of perusing your spear.
There's quite a story about this. That's for sure.
Yes, it's of a very unique craftsmanship. Where did you get it?
I'll recount her our entire journey to the Isle of the Mother and all that. And yes, your compatriot Thrush has been very busy with us.
You all made the pilgrimage to Tol Morwen.
Yes,
indeed, it was quite the long journey.
it was harrowing, but a worthwhile experience.
It's
Especially
really
since-
cold.
Tended to be a pilgrimage at all.
I mean, Lucia did talk to me and say I should probably go there, so I guess in a sense it was for me, but the rest of you just accompanied me.
And went to go find out about a certain girl.
Well,
Oh,
we didn't
yeah.
find out about that till later, to be fair.
If the mad ramblings of a seer sent you there, I'm sure that the spear has its purpose yet to be seen.
I would think so. I can tell it has there's just something about it that's special, other than just its craft.
I don't know, Larry. I think we've already faced the giant. I think its tale is done. He just lights his pipe.
Yes, well,
The single giant who's now residing with his mother.
perhaps.
And with that, the tea is finished, and you can see her weathered face just light up in delight as she actually is able to take a sip. Her eyebrows raise, and she takes a sip of it. She says, "That's delightful. Thank you, Miragar. You said your name was."
Yes, of course. I mean, a good campfire requires some good tea, well, or a good mug of ale, but we don't really bring that on many of our travels. Maybe we should look into bringing a small keg for the next journey.
If you want to carry it, by all means.
Tea making
They
was
like-
quite the respected craft among your people.
I think so, along with cooking, and he just starts listing off a bunch of kind of nonsensical things that the hobbits take into consideration.
And as he's going on through all this, as he kind of winds down from saying all the things he's saying, Thrush is just going to nod over to the little buckler that's attached to his backpack and say, "And don't let him fool you. He's much more than a cook. He's also a shield wall. A very small, very agile shield wall."
Yes.
With that, she looks over at the buckler, and then she looks down. She actually notices a hobbit in boots. I've not encountered such a thing before.
Yeah, it's kind of new. My feet are real itchy, but apparently he like taps his heels together, and he's like, "They gotta give me a good spring in my step." Elven made, apparently.
Yes.
By the best.
If I may, you may want to get some wool coverings or maybe cotton for your feet. It keeps them from itching. Sort of.
I'll have to look for that Tharbad, maybe.
Oh, yes. Apologies, Miragar. We probably
Or,
should have
right,
mentioned-
we're looking for a cobbler, aren't we? Maybe that's... I'll have to make me some.
Yes, Miragar. We probably should have mentioned the concept of socks to you.
Maybe. He's got like a stick. He's like itching his ankle.
And the night sets in. Is there anything else you all want to do?
I mean,
Any other
anyone-
information you're looking to get from her?
I guess just how long have you been at, well, I guess you've been at this for at least a few months, seeing as how we inadvertently crossed paths with someone.
Yes. Well, John and I were working together for some time until he decided to abscond with Gurnow's treasure. And I've been waiting here for, well, 5 nights now. But I come down around here periodically when, and typically the fire will be lit as soon as I need to speak with John. That's how he knows to speak with me.
I see.
Do you know much about these stones? I know they seem to be important. They're in a pattern. I don't know much about them.
She looks around at the stones and she says, I know little. But to my understanding, the elves built them long ago. Perhaps before the sun and the moon were even in the sky.
It's possible.
But all of that has passed into legend at this point and is far beyond my reckoning.
Of course. Well, I believe that I shall take my leave for the evening, because we have a long few days ahead of us.
Indeed. And she looks over at John and says, Nary will you be escaping my sight.
Don't worry, if he does, we can hunt him down a little bit.
Just one more thing. Like, where exactly should we be looking for these candles to be lit? What part of the city? Is it different every time?
It's normally different. She changes the location. But the house will be abandoned and would probably be on the south bank.
Alright. Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. If you need me, I'll be in my bag.
I'll be here, making some arrows.
Yes.
And you all need to sleep. 'Cause I don't need to.
Yes, I know. We're such pathetic mortal beings.
You don't have to ask a hobbit twice to go to bed, and he kind of walks just on the outside of the fire to kind of sit and roll down.
Does he walk a few times in a circle before, like a dog?
I'm just
I think he needs the bedroll a couple times, like really specific about how it lays.
massages it a little bit and
Yeah.
fluffs it in some stuff.
There's a stone there. You might want to.
They get kind of stiff after a couple days of travel, and it's been a little cold, so it's
No, just watch
lining
out. There's a
times,
stone
yeah.
there underneath your bag.
he moves it over a little bit.
Everywhere I lie, there's a dirty great root sticking into my back.
Exactly. Thrush just curls himself up in his cloak and puts his backpack under his head and lays down on the ground.
All right.
Aranel will
This is the best
spend
old sleep
all
I've
night
seen
just
forever.
doing menial maintenance on like her bow and the
Or brand
arrows
new bow.
and other random meditative things so that she doesn't need to sleep.
Okay. And as you do this, Orithel actually stays up with you for a good while, and she asks you questions about the elves of Mythlond, and while she says that she has been there once or twice, she still has quite the curiosity about her, and also wonders why it's not an elven bow which you possess, but Wand of Manish make?
I do have an elvish bow, but this one supposedly is better. We'll see about that.
Well, let's hope that proves true.
Went through quite the trial to get it, so hopefully it was worth it.
Well, hopefully you won't have the chance to use it all too terribly soon. But
Yes, but if I need it, it's here.
indeed. Well, while I don't possess the keen senses of the elves, I must retire.
Indeed.
Do keep an eye on that one, won't you?
Of course.
And with that, she heads over to her bedroll and curls up. And you can tell that she is very much weathered. You can perceive a lot of darkness in her eyes, as if she's burdened by either years of experience or things that she's seen, things that she's done. But yeah, you can tell that she's carrying quite a bit.
Alright, well, she'll probably just hum some like elven lullabies as well throughout the night. And just make a nice little ambiance for those sleeping.
And the moonlight is clear and bright tonight. The night is warm, and there is a soft wind blowing down from the north, bringing with it a slight coolness, but not too much, just enough to keep you comfortable. And
Are we mechanically getting a prolonged rest for those who need to recover some hope?
yes,
Alright, who needs hope? Because we got a fresh pool.
I need a few.
I do. I've got 7 of 10.
I have
So whoever
3
has-
of 11.
Okay.
Thrush.
Thrush takes a good
I can
chunk
take
of it.
3.
You can
Well,
take
that-
5.
Let's see. But
I don't. I think I'll skip for now.
Why don't I, how about I take, was it 4? Well, 4 would leave 5 for you two to split, right?
Yeah. I'm at 8 of 11. I mean, I'm okay. I could probably do with just 1, just to be safe.
I mean, if he takes 5 and you each take 2, I'll just take 1 to
Oh,
top
it's
me up a
9.
little bit more.
Let's do that. I'll use 5.
keep in mind that there's
no,
other
no,
things
never
you
mind,
can
never
do
mind.
with those.
We only have 9. You guys are good.
Yep.
I don't need any.
Um,
True.
I'll take just 1.
There is just getting our hope.
I'll
back.
take 1. And we've got 2 points if we need it for
Shadow Fest.
Fest.
Yep. Sounds good.
Alright, so your company around the fire has restored your hope a bit. You awaken the next morning with a renewed sense of purpose and vigor, and you trudge forward to Tharbad.
Hi, John.
Have fun. Don't run off
And
now.
the farmlands outside of Tharbad eventually give way to gray fields, lifeless and dreary, as you move forward closer to Tharbad.
Before we left, though, Miragar leaves a little box of tea, enough for 2 or 3 cups, with Orithel, and says, "Everybody needs a good cup of tea from time to time, and hopefully we're not gone too long. But if you, here's a couple cups for you."
Thank you. I'll put it to good use. All right. And you make your way down to Tharbad. And there before you is the very same towers which stretched above the city walls, crumbling and in disrepair just as they were so many months ago. You see 2 guards standing in front of the gates, the portcullis, which is currently closed, and the very same rules posted. Which, if you don't remember, I can bring them up for you once more.
For the benefit of the viewers, let's see him again.
So, no fording the river for reasons of public safety, no disobedience or defiance. Those who dwell in Tharbad may not leave Tharbad without permission, and if they do not return promptly, penalties apply to their kin. No wasting food nor firewood, no sharing of the above. Tolls must be paid by peddlers, merchants, tinkersmiths, treasure hunters, knights, errant, messengers, and all other strangers. Taxes must be paid by those who dwell within the walls to pay for maintenance and defense. And 7, in all other matters, the king's law holds.
Well, at least they haven't added any.
You better knock on some wood there, Larry. Hopefully that.
And
Oh.
with that,
Yes.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, well, you have a nice bow that's made of wood.
And with that, you all approach the gates. And one of the guards holds up his hand and stops you. You don't recognize this one. It doesn't seem as
Good.
though this is the same guard that stopped you previously. But he holds up his hand and says, "Holt, what business have you in Tharbad?"
Just visiting.
Just visiting. Perhaps shop while we're here.
Sure. He looks at you and he spies your spear, Larry, and your sword, Thrush, and your bow, Aranel, and your boots. Quite the outfit for innocent travelers.
Well, the roads are dangerous.
Quite unsavory things to encounter on the road.
Well, surely you won't have any issues with being able to afford the entry fee.
Of course.
No, of course not.
She'll hand over her treasure.
Okay. And with that,
Actually, I'll pay for this one as well. And she'll pay for Thrush since he doesn't really have anything on him.
Yeah, what is the fee for all of us together?
you can just say,
4 treasure total.
yeah, a treasure apiece.
Alright, yep. I will pay for my treasure.
Yep.
Just nod to Aranel.
And with that, you hear a loud whistle come from the guard. He whirls his fingers around like this, and you see the portcullis slowly start raising up.
I make a sleight of hand roll to steal our money back.
You're more than welcome to try.
I mean, Aranel probably could, but
We're here on important
on
covert operations for now.
yeah, I would
You do have the burglary distinctive feature, so I mean, it's definitely within your purview.
yeah, I am the burglar.
No one
And I
ever
do
suspects
have-
the elf.
I'm favored and have 3 success die. in Stealth, so
You could, but let's
if you
not.
really want us to, I can, but
That's an Aranel decision to make.
I'd rather not risk it on the way in. Maybe on the way out.
Oh, good call.
All right, so you make your way back into Tharbad once again, and it seems as though the place has not improved, but perhaps degraded even a little bit from its previous state the last time you were here. You see the outer districts are nothing but abandoned buildings and foundations of what used to be buildings. And even though you can see almost wall to wall on either side of you, something about it seems claustrophobic and oppressive. And as you,
Glad to see those toll pennies are hard at work.
Yes, I was just going to say it's quite lovely.
and as you trudge down the main thoroughfare, you can see what few buildings are still standing and are still populated. You see eyes peering out at you, watching you as you pass, and as soon as you look up and meet their gaze, their shutters close immediately. You walk along and you feel as though you're being followed, and you turn around and you don't see anybody. Or maybe if you do see someone, they avert their gaze immediately and change directions.
The city seems to be on a little bit more,
An edge? Yes.
yeah, than last time we were here. Not that it was awfully cheery then, but these people
There was a
kind
semblance of life.
regarded us. Yeah.
At this point, it's just passive hostility at best.
Is that inn still standing? Or open? That we stayed at last time?
It is. The Bridge Inn is still standing. And as you continue past, you pass the town market, which you had encountered a while back, last time you were here. And the Bridge Inn is still standing. And you can see there are a number of city guards which are making their way in and out.
What time is it that we've arrived at?
We could say it's probably midday. If
Okay.
you like.
Alright.
Well, it's good to see that our favorite inn is still at least operational.
Yes.
And
Well, I
Is it
mean,
Lon
if
Dare
you
that
take
had
away
fish
the
pies?
alcohol,
What was that, Thrush?
was it Londare where we got the fish pies, or did we have fish pies here as well?
That was Londare.
That was Londare. Yeah.
I think because I remember this is the place where we met the guy at the inn, and he was like, "Yeah, they're my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they may not pay, but
yeah,
They get the
They're
preferred
friends.
guard discount.
that's where I met Tom Brass.
Yeah.
And do you all head inside?
Yep.
I suppose we need to kill time until sun goes down.
All right. And you open the door, and it creaks open, and you can hear bustling about, loud laughter, and almost shouting as the guards are making merry midday. And you see the very same broken tooth, scarred face man with fists like hammocks approach you. Timothy Titus, his name was. He approaches you and says, "Oi, welcome. Oh, I remember you. You're the... Yeah, I remember you. You was in here, what, 6 months ago?"
Give or take.
Yes, it's been quite some time.
Very good, very good. Say, would you like some rounds of ales? I promise they're not poisoned or anything.
Of course.
Well, as long as you promise that, of course.
Right-o. Here, have a seat next to the earth. And he points you to a hearth, or a table right next to a hearth, which is currently blazing, and it is very hot.
it's too hot for me. Sit as far away from it as possible at that
It
table.
burns.
Let's scooch the table just a little bit further away.
Is this the kind of place where we can move the tables, or?
You look around and you can see that there are tables and chairs which are currently flipped over, and bottles and mugs which are laying on the ground, their contents spilled all over the floor. You would guess that they probably don't really care where the tables are.
Pick a table you like, Thrush. We'll make it work.
I think we'll be fine. I don't think anyone's going to notice anything different.
Very good.
All right. So, Timothy brings you all of your ales and sets them down in front of you, and they are indeed not poisoned. At least not any sort of detectable poison that you can tell. It tastes just fine.
Oh, thanks.
In fact, as you drink it, you notice this ale is very good.
Compared to what we had before.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
New
The likes
supplier.
of which is hardly found outside of Bree.
I'm like, oh, this is a new brew, isn't it? It's quite nice.
Oh yeah, Milton made it. He lives over on the middle aisle. Finest brewer in
You guys had
Tharbad.
I was gonna say you had a brewer move in since last we were here.
Yeah. quite honored in his craft, he is.
It would seem so. I haven't had anything like this in some time.
Well, his skill was being put to good use here at the Bridge Inn.
Very good.
And you can see that the boys tend to like it. And at this point, you see there's a couple of guards who just raucously drunk. And one of them throws a punch at the other one and just completely misses and falls over a table. And the others just point and laugh.
I see.
And with that, Timothy kind of returns to his duties. Is there anything specific that you would like to do while you are here?
Maria's mentioned, she said usually on the south bank, which means we will have to secure transports across the river.
I wonder if we can find our froggy friend.
Perhaps. The real question is,
Let's see.
would it be suspicious if we cross the river after dark?
Probably.
So we'll probably need to make our move before sundown.
Or you can just send me. Instead
Yes.
of men who tend to make a lot of noise.
Yeah, but I
Specifically looking at, like, Thrush and Larry, because they're the ones that fail most often.
He's just gonna
Things
point down
I-
at your shoes that are up on a chair. He's like, "It's the boots."
I mean, the funny part is, I think I have 3 in stealth favored. Just don't have good luck sometimes.
Or maybe it was Thrush and Miragar, I don't remember.
Well, it's definitely.
I just know that some of you boys tend to... that's
I mean, I only have 2 dice in it, and it's not favored, so...
There you go. And Miragar now he has shoes, which are just a new experience for a hobbit.
Yeah.
All right, and just so you guys have it, I'll share this with you.
Yes.
Oh,
The map
yeah.
of Tharbad. And so you can see that the middle aisle, as Titus was talking about, is the center there underneath the bridge. That is where Milton lives, and that is kind of where you saw Jan the Frog going back and forth from when you first met her.
Yes.
And you can see, obviously, there's no getting to the south bank over the bridge. If you're going to get to the south bank, it's going to have to be more or less by boat or swimming.
But that's against the rules.
So, Miragar will pipe up after they've gotten their ales and have a conversation and be like, the city seems to be, I don't know, a little more suspicious of travelers. I know you recognized us and greeted us with hospitality like you did before. But walking in, I fear as if the town wasn't as courteous as it was in the past. Did something happen while we were gone? Any new news of anything? Any new rules that we may have missed?
No new rules. Gurnow is the same Gurnow. We have had a few visitors that have taken audience with Gurnow, but I don't really know anything about any of that. I don't think they're
maybe-
murderers or anything, because he's still around. And so
Yes.
I.
Yes, well, fair.
No, nothing like that. Maybe it was just the shadows playing tricks on me as we were walking in. We came at a different time of day last time we were here, so maybe everybody just looked to be in a more dour mood. You know how the light can play tricks on you sometimes, you know?
Perhaps that's just Tharbad. You really got to know how to navigate these streets here.
Oh.
You got to be tough to call Tharbad home.
Well, nothing gets past me and my buckler.
I'm sure it doesn't. And he punches you on the shoulder. He says,
But if it does...
"Oh, I meant no offense.
Nope.
Oh, it's not often we see little hobbits making their way down here. In fact, I don't think I saw one before you.
Yeah,
Then there was
I
one
don't-
that came through town. He was wearing some sort of heraldry from the town just down the river. Was it Londare, I think?
Ah, yes.
Yeah, there was a hobbit.
Thalamar Fairbirds.
That's him. You know him.
I've met him.
Right, merry chap, that one.
Yes, he is. He definitely reminded me of home when I met him and was a tad homesick.
Well, the more I meet of you, the more I like you. You hobbits. You know what's important? That's good food, good drink. And a
Yes.
nice hot hearth.
And good stories.
If you weren't
Aye.
the size of 3 hobbits, maybe even 4, I'd say you'd fit in just fine.
Well, I can walk around on my knees if I need to.
That'll get you down to 2 hobbits.
Quit putting the shelf up.
I didn't put it back up. It's Pumpkin and Miragar are now having their evening race.
So we're gonna have a few shorts out of this episode of cut out cat scenes. At this
Or if you hear a loud noise, it's Catscape.
Any loud noises are provided by Catscape.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else you would like to ask Titus while he is here with you?
Can I become a
Titus.
space marine?
Can you what now?
Can I become
Become
a
a
space
space marine.
I don't rightly know what that is, but maybe.
Sorry, Titus. No, I think we'll just kill some time and maybe shortly before sundown or, look for some method of crossing the river.
Right. Sounds good. And you all kill a few hours, share some stories. You observe the customer base that goes in and out of the Bridge Inn. And after a while, yeah, it pretty much. You do see a few of the common town folk who haven't resorted to being town guards make their way in and out, but a lot of them don't stay too long, as the atmosphere does tend to get a little bit intimidating, as members of authority are they tend to get a little raucous, and if they don't get their way, you've noticed that they may resort to intimidation at some points. None of which is actually directed at Titus, you notice, though. He seems to have made good friends with everyone here. And with that, you all see just about as it's time to, as the sun begins to set, you can see through the windows the sunlight is beginning to fade. You see a young Tom Brass enter. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
All right.
Nice.
Welcome, Tavern goers, and thank you for listening to this Tales from the Dragon's Tavern production. I am JJ, and I just wanted to ask that if you are enjoying our content, that you go subscribe to our Patreon, Tales from the Dragon's Tavern, where we are making it our one-stop shop for all of the content we plan to produce. As we grow and we are able to give you more content, we will probably update our memberships, but for now, it'll be free. And it'll give you access to all our social medias, our Discord channel, and all of those places that you can get our content, but we're going to make sure it's all in one spot for you as well. Cheers, and I hope you enjoy Tales from the Dragon's Tavern.
And we are back as you all sit in the Bridge Inn, and Tom Brass enters through the door, and he doesn't head up to the bar as you would expect. He doesn't make eye contact with Titus expecting, food or drink. Instead, he turns his gaze towards you all and immediately makes his way over to you. And as he does, you can see that he is walking with intent. He approaches your table and he says, "The captain wants to see you."
What?
He didn't say. He just sent me out to fetch you. He wants to see you in the Red Palace.
Well, we
Okay,
paid his
so this
fee.
is not. Is this? This wouldn't be Gurnow then, would it? Or?
Yeah, yes.
Oh
it
wait, yeah,
would.
Captain's mentioned. Yeah.
Yep.
But-
Yes, well, I wonder what he has for us this time. We paid the fee.
He didn't say, but if you'll follow me.
Alrighty.
Keep some bread warm for me.
Drink the rest of the ale from his mug quickly.
Right,
Send
you
down.
got it! And Titus shouts from behind the bar.
Yes.
All right, and with that, you see Tom Brass is all about business right now, and he leads you across the way, down the street a little bit, and you see the very same red palace. Its exterior coloring fading and chipping away. What once was a great vista, or a great villa rather, is now reduced to a sheer mockery of what it once was. And you enter into the very same doors as they creak open. You can hear sort of a little bit of raucousness coming from the main hall. As you enter in, you can see not much has changed. You can see Captain Gurnow sitting in his chair. You see Lady Stock sitting next to him, his wife, just as they were before. And you see a couple of other individuals, some of them armed. Some of them look as though they're wearing like artisans' clothing or scholars' clothing. Different people performing different functions, but all present in the courtroom, or in the Great Hall, rather. And so, what we're going to do here is a first for the show. This is going to play out as a council.
Okay.
And so, the idea of a council is you all will need to kind of set a goal for what it is you want to achieve with the council. You'll need to have a very clear idea of what it is that you want, and I will basically set a quote-unquote resistance rating for that.
All right.
You will also need to elect someone to make the introductions to kind of dictate the council's attitude towards you while you're talking.
Okay.
And the council will play out in a series of roles. After the introduction, that will be a skill roll, either awe, courtesy, or riddle, depending on how you want to approach introducing the group. And then there's the interaction, which will consist of a number of skill rolls like enhearten, insight, persuade, riddle, song, any of those interpersonal skills.
All right. The ultimate goal would just be to see if he would even be amicable to a prisoner swap, period. Not
Well,
necessarily.
I don't even think. I think we use John as an ace in our pocket. I think we just say we are here from Bree, because we are,
Yeah.
to see if we can
Negotiate the release of a citizen.
the release. Yeah. Of Borsal, or was it? Or how do you spell his
Borlas.
name?
Borlas,
Borlas.
Borlas.
Or less.
And so you're wanting to try to negotiate just the free release of Borlas.
In general, just would there even be any terms that would be amenable to him to release Borlas in the first place?
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
as
and
we
then our negotiation from that could possibly be.
Oh,
John.
by the way, yeah, we have this guy that stole shit from you. You want him? We'll give him to you.
Okay.
But that's like the last resort kind of thing. We just want to see, would he even be amenable to a trade or any sort of deal, period, before we even start negotiating.
Now, can we have multiple goals, or just sort of we're looking at gotta have one? Because I feel like another one. I mean, here's the thing: if Thalamar was up here, that means they sent an emissary for the Queen of Londare up here for something. Maybe we try to get some information about that as well if we can.
Okay. All right, very good. So, with that, you see Tom Brass brings you all into the Great Hall, and as he enters with you all in tow, the hall quiets down. You see everybody kind of stand there in silence and kind of just watching you as you walk by. And Tom introduces you all. He says, Lord Gurnow, the travelers you requested. And with that, you see he kind of bows his head and then walks over to the side. And so, of the four of you, rather, which one of you would be giving the introduction?
Probably Larry.
Tad one.
Well, just so you guys know, it is on page 104 of 106 of the core book.
Yeah.
It kind of gives the example of using awe, courtesy, or riddle.
Okay.
Awe is taking the kind of making a very powerful statement about yourselves. Maybe not. Courtesy might be the way to go, and I think that's
my
Larry.
Larry.
Yeah.
But just so we know for further, awe, courtesy, and riddle are kind of the three skills that sort of says best suits this type of. I mean, if you can make an argument for anything, you could probably use it, but
yeah, especially stealth.
Yeah.
Well, stealth in a social situation is riddle.
True.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying too. Riddle, I have two and I'm favored. Riddle may be a good one because I could, question them, especially on the Dunedain part, or myself, the Hobbit. Hobbits aren't rare here, but they've seen quite a few already. And poke and pry a little bit of insightfulness out of their reactions to certain things, or we could just play it polite. I would either go for the riddle or the courtesy, I think, in this situation.
We'll open up
How the
polite
rest
and
of you
see
feel.
how it goes, I think.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I think there's more. I don't know all the steps to it, but I think there's an opener and then discussion. So I suppose opening, doing what comes naturally to the merchant in this case probably is not a bad opener.
Okay, sounds good. So, with that, Gurnow addresses all of you and says, "You all come into Tharbad once again. Even better armed than you were before. I'd like to know what travelers such as yourselves are doing again in Tharbad."
All right. And is that the prompt to roll then?
Yes, it is.
All right. Do
I want to put a hope on it just in case.
I was gonna say, can anyone feasibly support me in this, or is this kind of?
I would say
with
these, I would say with councils, I would say you're kind of on your own for these.
I figured.
Okay, great success. And you rolled a 6 as well. Okay, very good.
All right. Well,
Very
Captain
good.
Gurnow, we were hoping that we wouldn't cause any issue here. We paid our fee just fine, but we actually are here on behalf of Bree in the city of Bree itself. We understand that some months ago, a citizen of Bree was interred here for one reason or another, and we were hoping that you might be able to come to some agreement to return our citizen to us.
Oh, Bolas.
Yes, Bolas.
Right. He was unable to pay the fee, and of course, whenever you're unable to pay the fee, well, you're gonna have to pay the toll somehow.
Of course, we understand, but we were hoping we came directly from Mr. Prithee Wendell himself, who's in charge of Bree, to see if we could come to some agreement. He's very serious about making sure that his people are safe, as I'm sure you as a leader would understand as well.
Go ahead and make me a persuade roll.
Alright.
And now that the introductions are over, you all can pipe in as you see fit as well.
Alright. In favor. I'll just spend hope on it.
Okay.
Great, but still a success.
Still success, no sixes or anything, but that's okay.
Miragar would like to see if he could see any. It looks like there are craftsmen and such here.
Mhm.
He's looking to see if maybe he could see somebody who matches the description they were given.
Of Borlas?
Yeah.
Yeah, while Larry's talking, go ahead and make me a scan roll. Okay. Success.
It's a good thing that was.
Try.
It's famous.
Let's try Sauron. Get out of here.
So as you scan around, you look around and you can see that there are several people here, all cut from different cloths, so to speak. None of them look particularly enthused to be here for the most part, but at the same time, none of them seem to match the description which you were given of Borlas.
All right.
And to you, Larry, Gurnow says, well, depending on what you've got on offer, I might be willing to listen to a proposal.
Yes, well, we very much are willing to negotiate, of course. We want the best situation for all, the best outcome for all involved.
What have you got in exchange for my release of Borlas?
We understand that at some point you had some money taken from you by a thief. We would be willing to give you an equivalent amount to pay off that loss.
He looks at you and he says, Borlas is no thief. What thief is it that you speak of? Is it John? John Aleepin, they call him.
Yes.
He rattles off a number that would be basically equivalent to 5 treasure. And I'm going to need another persuade roll.
All right. Well, 6s, although it's a very high number.
Okay. Well, I would be amenable to such a proposal. Borlas himself is very much worth more than that to me and his skill. I in fact offered him the opportunity to work for me as a cobbler, and he not so politely declined. And so he rots in Garth Tauron. Perhaps
Well,
if you
I'm sure he
can
misses home.
persuade... Go ahead.
I'm sure he misses home. If you were stuck in a foreign town, I'm sure you would want to go home as well.
I would ask for an enhearten roll for that one.
Oof.
You shouldn't have said anything, Aranel. I can do Enhearten.
I would also allow an insight roll.
Ugh, they're both equally bad. Dang it. We'll
And
just
keep in mind, I do want to remind you, you do have the elven skill ability.
Oh yeah! I'll spend a
Magical
hope
the magical
and make that
success.
a magic success, but I'll roll it anyway.
Okay, and keep in mind though, before you,
Well,
before I'll let you make the final decision on that, keep in mind that magical successes also increase your eye awareness. Okay.
I'm aware.
Okay,
That's a failure. So yes, I'm aware.
that's okay. You didn't get any
Magic
sixes, but
success.
that is totally fine. You say this to him, and you gaze on his face, and you can tell that while he is a very hardened man, you see he begins to empathize ever so slightly. But you can tell that his pride is far too strong for him to ever admit that he would even be in such a predicament.
All right.
Well, Captain Gurnow, may I suggest maybe a two-part exchange here between
Well,
us,
hold on.
yourself, and this cobbler?
Well, hold on now, Miragar. One thing. So, currently he's just sitting in your prison, correct? He's not contributing anything to you.
Right.
So he's just an expense to you then, because you're keeping him alive.
Waiting for him to come to his senses.
Well, that day may never come. We can give you money. The money you've lost. And we get rid of an expense from you. I feel like that's a fair arrangement for you.
Well, that might be fair. That halfling there was about to say something. I'd like to hear what he has to say too.
Well, actually, Larry had kind of mentioned something that I was going to have some interest on, but I know last time we left here, we have, I don't know, under poor graces, I guess, maybe something like that. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, Captain Gurnow, we did come to Tharbad on behest of Bree, but also to see what state the town was in, to see if you had grown or had become bigger than what you were when we left. And so we did slightly lie to you. And with this, I offer 2 prizes, rewards, payments, I guess. We will gladly, as a token of good faith, pay you what John Alepin has stolen from you. For I'm sure getting your hands on a thief like that would be worth more than what he stole. And maybe, as Larry said, pay you a bit more for what it costs to hold our friend in your prison. And maybe with those, put us in the good graces of your court and allow us to have good faith with the city of Bree. And Miragar would like to use Riddle, as he's kind of playing that gather information, poking around to see what's going on in his head type thing.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give me a riddle roll.
That looks good. Yes, it does. All right. Great success.
Very nice. And guess what? That counts as an additional success as well because you got a 6. Okay. You guys are doing good.
And now Thrush is going to say something and mess it all up.
Shut your yaps.
Is Thrush, is he present?
Thrush is, in fact, present in the back with his hood up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the guy was going to let us just be like, can we leave one person behind? No.
Can we leave the bad negotiator behind, please?
Damn it!
All right. So with that, you see he kind of perks up a little bit. He seems more and more interested at the prospect. The idea of gaining more immediate wealth, as it were, seems to interest him quite a bit, especially if it's being made in recompense for holding a prisoner, as if you're making a good case that he is more of an expense than he is a potential boon. And you said you're also kind of hunting for information on maybe what all is kind of going
shape,
around.
Yeah, what shape Tharbad is in. Like I said, we wanted to come here and see how much he's grown and see if those things kind of put him in a dour mood, and just kind of play on we were expecting more of Tharbad, but, we're not here for that. We're actually on a mission.
With that, you see, you kind of pluck at his pride a little bit. He perks up and he says, "I'll have you know that we've made some powerful friends. I'll not say more than that. But things are looking up for old Tharbad. And with Captain Gurnow at the helm, we've got bright days ahead of us."
Larry's gonna kind of cut in, and he's gonna try to use Enhearten and be like, "Well, we're certainly glad to hear that. So perhaps some more immediate capital would help you improve Tharbad even further. As we said, he's an expense, and I may have mentioned before that my family comes from merchants, so we know a thing or two about playing with numbers and money and the like. So this legitimately, to me, seems like a win-win deal for you."
Okay, go ahead and make me an Enhearten roll.
Alright, I have many dice for Enhearten because of my item.
Sure. Yeah.
No,
All five and no sixes.
yeah, no sixes, but that's okay. No Eyes of Sauron or anything, so I'm happy.
Yes.
Only a billion. You rolled a billion dice. Yeah, with that, he says, "I've thought about it. I tend to like your proposal."
As I said when I entered, I want the best outcome for everyone involved.
Bolas will be your burden now.
Thank
We can
you.
release him at sunup.
Thank
But
you.
I do have one inquiry for you.
Of course.
Seeing as how you know that I was stolen from, it occurs to me that perhaps you know John. Where is he?
He's being held by Bree at the moment, but we can certainly bring word for him to be exchanged to you as well, as an extra part of this deal.
With that,
He caused trouble for our people, so he was being held there. And he kept saying this and that about how he was your associate or something, and we finally had to get it out of him that he may not have been in the best graces with you. But he was trying to intimidate us and sully your good name as if you would be associated with some thief.
With that, he leans forward in his chair and he strokes his beard and says, "Seeing as how you're so keen on justice, as a condition to our trade, I would like him to be brought here before Bolas is released, so that he might also be brought justice. Seems only the right thing to do."
If we would at least be allowed to see Bolas for ourselves to make sure he's in good health, that can certainly be arranged.
We can provide you with an escort to Goth Tauron.
Thank you, Captain.
And with that, that is a successful council. You guys had 0 failures, so congratulations on that.
We could have if I wasn't because Enhearten is one of the worst stats.
Yeah, that could have been quite difficult. But yeah, you guys passed it with flying colors. And
Alright,
She
so
definitely
that-
wanted to say more, but
Oh, I
Not
was about to
risking
say things, but the things I was going to say were going to be a very different way of doing things. Not awe. He was going to shame them by basically starting to recite the history of Tharbad and where it became and where it came from and how it became this. And, trying to bring him, the sense of like, we could make this great again. We could make this great again. If we only started treating everybody like, they should be treated and using song to actually bring it to him.
so Thrush would be campaigning with Make Tharbad Great Again. MTGA. Hey, that's Magic the Gathering.
Arena. I was about to say, wait a second.
Dang it.
I didn't know
Yes.
Kate was here.
All right. And with that, Gurnow gestures forward and he says, "No, if you please, I do have other business I need to attend to, so..."
Of course. When may we have visitations with our citizen?
We'll call it sunup. Tom, you'll see to that, right? And Tom gives him a nod.
So, should we give him the treasure now, or is he going to be gracious enough to wait?
Miragar will bring out the 5 initial treasure for John's part and say, on good faith, part of the arranged payment, and he'll put it, give it to whoever comes to collect it.
Tom approaches and he grabs it from you, gives you a nod, and takes it up to Gurnow, who then looks it over and counts it, or assesses its value rather, and gives you all a nod and says, "To good faith." And he brings up a flagon of ale that he had sitting at his side, and raises it up in your direction and takes a big drink out of it, and you see the foam just runs down his beard, and he grabs it and wrings out his beard and shakes his hand. You see the foam fly across the floor.
Miragar shivers a little bit. Thrush probably notices.
Aranel's not saying anything.
All right.
Well, we shall spend the evening at the Bridge Inn then.
And as we go out, Thrush is just under his breath. Brian sitting on the tallest chair in the room. Wonderful.
Do we see that lady at all as we walk out?
Go ahead and give me another scan roll.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Aranel's absolutely scanning.
Yeah.
We're scanning? Oh my gosh, I could try that. I'm going to fail, but I can try it.
Hey, there's a Gandalf room.
There it is.
Good old Gandalf.
Make
With
dice
your
on the
one.
thing.
Hey, we all succeed.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Wow, I got a Gandalf root and a 1. Man.
That's the ultimate
Fantastic.
extreme right there.
I
did real good on my RP. Gandalf.
I got a
Good
great
job, kid.
great success on scan. What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what the heck?
I never get them, and I
Thrush
get a
never
Gandalf root
does.
and a 1.
All right. So as you're walking out, you see a woman kind of at the back end of the room, and she looks like this. And she eyes you all up and down and gazes at Thrush. And then as soon as your eyes meet hers, she looks away.
He'll do the same, pretending that he was looking down at a certain fidgety hobbit who's having trouble with his boots. Yeah, yep, that's it.
I really hope maybe Borlis can maybe make some inserts on the side. I'm starting to get blisters.
Socks. Definitely socks.
Socks. Yes. I gotta have him make me socks.
How old is she supposed to be based on
Like
what you
20s, 30s.
Yeah, you guess she looks to be probably in her late 20s, early 30s, somewhere around there.
Would
I was looking at my notes from when we were last here. They're very sparse, but... And I went too far. There we go.
But yeah, as we're walking out, and it's like, I don't disagree, Thrush, but unfortunately we didn't bring an army. Otherwise, I would say yes. Gurnow should be overthrown. I have a sneaking suspicion that your compatriot may be thinking the same.
Their plans could be long in the tooth.
Yes.
All right. And as you exit the Red Palace, you can see that there are guards who watch you very closely, and you can tell that they stare at your weapons longingly as you pass by.
This is a family heirloom. You cannot have it.
You can see that everything that they're carrying, they're efficiently equipped, but you can see that the swords that they carry are, they're tarnished, and some of them might have blunt edges. Their spears are also tarnished, and some of the wood that makes up the shaft is not in the best of shape.
It's splintering and dinged up.
So,
Larry leaves the business card for Rushlight's rapiers and ranger equipment.
We are making our own armory, so eventually you'll have enough stock.
Yeah.
All right. So, you all exit the Red Palace. What is the next order of business? Were you wanting to try and sneak about tonight, or were you wanting to save that for another night?
We may want to play it cool for the evening.
I think if anything, we all go to the inn, and then Aranel sneaks out and leaves the message.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Just like Aranel sneaks off in the dead of night when nobody is awake, and just
It's almost like she doesn't need to sleep or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really a wonderful thing, huh?
And I feel like a lot of people are not going to be that mean to an elf, because they probably feel like if she does get caught, they're like, I don't think we're supposed to mess with elves. That's probably a taboo.
If anything, she would just be like, oh, I was bored, so I'm just walking around town. I don't need to sleep like you mortals.
It'd be like, I don't sleep, sorry.
There's only so many times I can sharpen my arrows.
Would you like to see?
They're very pointy.
Ma'am, put the weapon down.
All right, so you all make your way back to the Bridge Inn, and at which point, as you enter the door, Timothy shouts out, "Oh, Master Hobbit, I've got your bread here!" And he holds up a steaming loaf of bread in his hand, and you can see he winces a little bit as it's hot, and he puts it down on a plate.
Potato with
You are a great man, sir. The council meetings of any meeting of any kind always makes my stomach grumble by the end of it.
Would you like some fresh butter? We just got some.
Oh, that would be fantastic. And a mug of ale, I think, for all of us, probably.
Milton's finest. And with that, he bandies off and makes his way in the back and promptly comes back, seemingly very eager to show you his fine wares, his delicious food, delicious butter, and wonderful ale.
And I thank him kindly for such things.
All right. And with that, the evening carries on. You see, eventually, as the night wears on, some of the guards exit. Some of them retire to rooms within this surprisingly very large building.
I feel like before anyone retires, Larry and Miragar may have been buying people drinks to get them a little more drunk, so Aranel has an easier time.
Okay.
We could call that a support role for her stealth roll.
You know what? I'll allow it. I will allow it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And while they're doing that, he's gonna support them by just playing a song. It may not add anything to the rolls, but he's just going to play the flute and try to entertain them and keep them drinking and partying and not paying attention.
Okay.
That they're getting extra drunk.
So what I will say is buying everyone here a drink. I would either say one of you would have to sacrifice a treasure.
I'll do it. Or
Actually, I think that's probably the best way to go about it.
okay.
Just the sheer amount of people in here would probably require a decent amount of money.
Fair enough.
And Timothy looks at you fondly, as you are lining his pockets very well. And then Thrush, I would have you give me a song roll if you would.
All right.
How proficient are you with your new flute?
Let's find out. He's not even going to put a hope die on it. He's just going to try. We'll see if he fails horribly. That's a pretty good roll.
Gandalf.
That's a pretty good roll. Pretty good. Gandalf watches upon you yet again.
Gandalf approves.
Now every city in Eriador is going to know Nellie's Fall.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So,
We're slowly spreading the song.
Aranel, you, as all of this is happening, you begin to make your way around maybe one of the side doors. You see everyone around in the bar is very merry. Thrush is playing. What kind of song would you be playing? Would you be playing a more upbeat song?
Yeah, he's going to be trying to emulate some of the songs from the Bree and the Shire. Just
Okay.
upbeat, pleasant songs
very-
that these people would probably enjoy.
Lighthearted. You see all of
There's
these
fine
drunkards
drinks.
begin dancing around.
There's buying the drinks, Thrush is entertaining them with music, and Miragar's just being there, being unique. They're like, we've never met a hobbit.
Yeah. You see a lot of people come over to Miragar and they desire to rub your head.
He begrudgingly allows it for Aranel's
With
sake, I
the-
hope.
Yes.
All right. So,
Wonder if her feelings play into this at all. Just waiting for
let's
the opportune moment.
yeah. So with all of this happening, Aranel, I would have you give me a stealth roll to make your way out. Let's see. You would take one from Thrush. Miragar is your fellowship focus, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, Miragar, what would you be doing if you're trying to help support this?
Allowing people to rub my head like a weird good luck charm.
You know what? I almost just simply because it's a hit to your pride, I almost don't need anything from you.
But also maybe just to kind of get people confused, be playing like riddle games.
Mm.
You know,
okay.
stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, give me a riddle roll.
If the first hobbit lives in the green hole, and the second hobbit lives in the red hole, and the third hobbit lives in the blue hole, where does the fourth hobbit live?
Okay, great success. I want to know the answer to that riddle. Okay, yeah, great success. That's awesome.
JJ's homework. He's got to come up with.
All right. So, with that, Aranel, I don't know. This will probably break my CPU watching all these dice roll, but you get to add 4 support dice.
I only have 3 slots. How do I add a 4th one?
Uh,
Oh, support from a companion. There we
yeah,
go.
support from a companion.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm not.
Yeah, which honestly, you know what? I like the idea of this. I don't know if it's against the rules as written. 38, holy smoke.
Almost 36.
Yeah, I don't know if that's against the rules as written to have that many people helping you out with that many dice, but I like it so much.
Well, thank you, Moss.
yeah,
We appreciate it.
You,
If nothing else, poor Miragar is taking a hit to his pride.
so you make your way around down a dark hallway, and you see that there's actually no doors back here, but you do see an open window, and you nimbly duck out this open window, and you are in the streets of Tharbad.
At night.
At night. And so do you begin making your way over to the south bank?
Yes. If she needs to cross the river, she'll probably just like commandeer somebody's little kayak or something.
Okay.
Just
Yeah, absolutely.
boat her way over.
So let me get
Just
this.
remember what happened the last time we were on a rowboat.
We're not
Alright.
fighting trolls, though. So...
I'm just saying, you never know. A troll could appear out of Tharbad for no reason if Moss wanted
That
to.
was Miragar's riddle. A hobbit, a human, and an elf are at a rowboat. Who's rowing?
Okay.
So
You see everybody in the tavern is just absolutely gobsmacked by whatever the answer might be, and they spin their. You see smoke begin to come out of their ears. They're thinking so hard.
This is going to be a good one. For
see.
people
And then
who
once
watch.
Aranel leaves, and we notice that Miragar stands on the table and goes, "I never said if the rowboat was in the water."
Oh,
All right, so
You cheeky bastard!
Aranel, you exit the bridge in, and you can see Helcar Tower, which makes up the north end of the bridge, just off to your left. You know from last time you were here, if you head downstream, there's a large set of stairs which leads down to the riverfront. As you silently make your way down through Tharbad, you see a few people pass by, but none of them seem to notice you. You make your way down to the bottom of these stairs, and I would have you give me an awareness roll really quickly.
ooh. She's also got like a million dice in this, so.
Yeah.
But it's
I see-
success.
and I see a six.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah, absolutely. You see,
A sonar thing just comes out of her, and she can see like a bat echolocation.
you see a small, solitary figure paddling a boat just upstream from you. With your elvish eyes, you can tell that this is none other than Jan the Frog.
Okay.
Do you let her pass by, or do you try to make contact?
I'll let her pass, and then if she seems to be going in the same direction, maybe interact at that point, but
Okay.
she
you
just wants nobody to know where she is. Or
Okay.
knows her.
Okay. And with that, you look around and you can see there are a couple of other boats which are currently tied to the dock here. So if you feel as though you wanted to take one, it's possible you might be able to. But you can see that Jan is just kind of bandying about. You see she's got a little fishing rod that she'll throw the line out into the river. And she sits there for a little while, looks around, and eventually she'll get a bite and pull it up, and she stuffs the fish into a sack. But it doesn't seem as though she's got a current goal in mind other than catching dinner.
Okay. If she can, like, subtly get her attention so that maybe other people don't notice her, but just Jan notices, she'll maybe hail her over and...
Okay. I'd say, I mean, with that stealth roll, I'd say easily enough you're able to do that. Just let out a slight whistle or something. You see,
Like a bird call.
you see Jan's ears perk up and she looks around, and you see her eyes go real big, and she paddles over to you. And the first thing you notice is Jan's actually got what seem to be new clothes and a new boat.
Oh.
She says, what was your name again? Aranel, was it?
Yes, it's good to see you, Jan.
He's up there to Jan the bullfrog.
It's good to see you too. What might you be doing back in Tharbad?
Just visiting and taking care of some other business, but it looks like you're doing much better than the last time I saw you.
Well, you know, I'd been doing my thing here and there. I made a few deals and made a little bit of extra coin.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're doing well. Say, would you be able to take me over to the South Banks?
Well, I'm sure I could. What's the play? What are you looking for over there?
Just looking to see if I can find anything interesting.
I see. Keeping the secrets. I hear ya. All right. You and me, we're in the same business, it seems.
It seems so.
Right. Well, color me curious. I'll give you a ride over there if you let me tag along.
I don't suppose that would hurt.
Righto. Hop in. Would you like a
Alright.
fish?
No, thank you. I'll let you keep that.
Yolos. And with that, she paddles across the river and past the middle aisle. And you can see there are several houses on the middle aisle. In fact, this one seems to probably be one of the more lively parts of town, the middle aisle. You can see several houses with lanterns burning through the windows, smoke coming from chimneys. But strangely enough, you don't see any boats tied to the docks in the middle aisle. And as you make your way over to the south shore, it's noticeably darker over here. It seems as though this side of the river is much less populated. So as you approach the south bank, you can see that it's much less lively than either the north bank or the middle aisle. You do see the Ringgill Tower, which guards the other side of the bridge, looming before you. And as you make your way on shore, you do pass a couple of homes, which do seem to be populated. There is one relatively larger building you see off in the distance towards the gate, which leads to the road to Gondor. Several windows burning brightly, some of which are stained glass. But as you're kind of making your way around, I would just have you give me a general awareness roll.
Okay. And of course the candle.
Gandalf. All right. So, as you're wandering around, you can see in what looks to be an abandoned house, 3 candles lit in a second floor window.
Well, it seems I've located where I need to be.
And as you approach, the front door, you can tell, is actually locked.
Interesting.
Damn it, I should have taken Larry's grappling hook.
I guess, would she need to lockpick it, or is there like a different way in? Like if she...
You can search for a different way in, or you being a treasure hunter, you do possess the ability to get into things which normally would forbid you, like locks and stuff like that.
Okay. I think she'll just try to pick the lock.
Okay, so we'll say that you pull out one of your knives and you stick it into the lock there in the door. I would say, let's see, I would have you give me a craft roll.
Okay.
And then since it's using one of your distinctive features, throw a bonus die on top of that.
All right. And just because it's not favored, she is going to use a hope just to make sure she doesn't mess it up too bad. Okay.
Oh, easily enough. You mess around with the lock a little bit. You find some tumblers with the edge of your knife and you brush them up. And the door opens up into a very musty, dark home. Seemingly abandoned. You see there is the remnants of some furniture which has collapsed, a couple of tables which has white claws thrown over it, and spider webs which extend from ceiling to floor.
All right. And she will start going up towards whatever level the window was at with the candles to see if there's a message for her.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you don't see, as you make your way to the second level, you see the candles burning brightly in the window there. You don't see any messages out in the open. However, I would have you give me another scan roll.
Oh no. It's a good thing that's favored, so yeah.
All right.
Oh, shoot. Could she have brought out her lantern to help with that?
Sure. Go ahead and roll
Okay.
another d6.
No, still by one. Gosh dang it.
So close. At that, you see Jan's kind of hobbling along with you. She says, "Now, what exactly are we looking for?"
Well, there's supposedly a message here. Not 100% sure what to look for. I wasn't really instructed on exactly what the protocol is, but...
Let's see. If I was someone who wanted to hide something, and you see she goes over to all kinds of different pieces of furniture, opens drawers and tosses them aside. It clangs loudly. Oh,
Quiet,
sorry.
Jen.
Sorry. And you see she makes her way over to what looks to be a fireplace. And she looks up in the fireplace, and you can see in the chimney she reaches up and grabs something and pulls it down. She says, "Oh, is this it?"
Possibly. Can I have a look?
All right. And you look at it and open it up, and you can see that it is unsigned, obviously, as it would be a poor spy who leaves
A signature.
a signature, and you can tell that it has been written in some haste. But I will apply this here, and it says, "Brethren, of note, a traveler on the road named Daor, a stranger to these lands who claimed to hail from Rohan. He arrived in Tharbad with only scanty belongings save for a fine walking stick of blackthorn, traveling on foot, and stayed at the roadhouse. He spoke little, but I marked that he listened closely. After a week in town, he departed up the river Glanduin and returned a month later, much the worse for wear and complaining muchly of the marshes at Swanfleet. I saw him again in the company of some dwarves, and they departed together, following the valley of the river into Eregion. The dwarves returned without Daor, and they seemed to me to be burdened with great sorrow. The dwarves set off north along the road. One was named Flonar. I do not know the name of his companion. Now Daor returned alone some days later, burdened by a heavy sack. He spoke long with Captain Gurnow and Lady Stock about what I cannot say. Daor bought a boat and set off north along the Grey Flood, and I noted that it sat very low in the water. It may be that Daor and the dwarves found treasure in the mountains and nothing more, but I thought it strange that they did not return together, and what business he has in the Lone Lands, I cannot guess."
Well, I'm not sure what any of this has to do with us, but I was sent to retrieve it, so she'll kind of tuck it into her pouch and leave the note that Orethel had left for us, and just like try to stick it back in like the same-ish spot that we found the letter. All right. Well, not too exciting, but
Jan looks over at you and says, "Well, I surely thought we'd be finding something a little bit more exciting than a letter."
yes, but I wasn't quite sure what we were looking for, so
Well, hopefully it turns
letter.
out to be exciting anyway.
Hopefully.
All right, and you all return back to the boat, Unless there's anything else you're wanting to do.
No, she'll probably just like leave a treasure behind for Jan.
Okay.
As a tip.
Yeah, for accompanying her and taking her across the river so she didn't have to try to row herself. Because that might have ended badly.
All right.
You
And
see, a troll named Snelly appears out of the water.
oh no.
No!
All right. And as you do that, you return to the Bridge Inn, letter in hand, to find everything still calm and nobody seeming to notice that you had left. And that is where we will end tonight's episode.
All right. Good job, Aranel.
Yeah.
Nice.